Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about The Alienist Angels of Darkness, Season 2, Episode 5, Belly of the Beast. I really like this episode. It reminds me of the finale of Season 1, which is kind of weird that they put this in the middle of like the season. And I do like the last episode of Season 2. Everything else in between is just like weird filler. This is just a weird season that's a little lackluster, I have to say. But it's still a good season and it's still a good series. But it feels like I don't know, it doesn't even feel like it's more character development. It's just weird. It's just weird how like the main star is taking a back seat in this season. Like there's barely any Laszlo, and when there is him in there, he's doing like other stuff other than pertaining to this murder and stuff. And I'm glad they give him more focus on Sarah, but it's kind of like people love Laszlo, like and if you're upset about that, then you're really gonna be upset about book 3, 4, and 5 and stuff. If they were to make like a new season, because like I wouldn't, I'll get more into that in my rundown review of what those potential seasons will be, because I couldn't believe it. Actually, I'll spoil a little bit here now. In book 3, it doesn't even take place in the 1800s no more. It's now in the modern day, our time. This is like, what the world was that writer doing? Like, and that's it. That's like the least favorite book, and fans hate that book. And so, what it is that it's a modern day detective who's obsessed with Laszlo and trying to solve murders. So if they were to do a season 3, if they were to show our original cast, it would have to be in flashbacks. If not, then they would probably just do everything modern. So if they were to make a season 3 and it's not flashbacks, they would probably just create their own thing. Which, a lot of shows have proven they can't do that without source material once they start from source material. I mean, look at 13 Reasons Why. The only source material was the first season, and everything else sucked after that. And the fourth book, did I say 4 or 5? No, I'm thinking of something. I'm probably thinking of something different. I think let's just say 4 for now. That hasn't even been like finished or completed, but the premise of that is it deals with a young Laszlo as he just now got his degree and trying to solve his first murder. So if they were to do a show about that, of course the actor can't play him because he's too old for the role and stuff. And they would have to find somebody who's exactly like this dude. And do you remember Hannibal Rising? Enough said. So anyway, this episode is pretty good. It's pretty thrilling. Um, Libby is becoming very disturbed and unhinged, especially now that she's been found out. So she's scared and she's running and she's manic. And so before she's still in Matron's house, and before she leaves, she sits Matron up in a chair like she's just sitting there all normal and stuff. It's weird and it's creepy. She's like a living doll sitting in a chair. And so as she's like fleeing and everything, trying to make her way back to like where she stashed the baby, we have our detectives in the home of the matron because she didn't show up for work and stuff. And also they're trying to like interrogate everybody who works there. If they might have known anything about Libby. And when they go into the apartment, they are very disturbed by what they see. Sarah is furious with herself. She's furious that she put Bitsy in danger, which, come on now. I mean, look what you did to Stevie last season. Speaking of Stevie, I'm only on the 6th episode. Stevie has only appeared in 2 episodes for a total of 30 seconds. Maybe less than that. Maybe 20 seconds. Yeah, 20 seconds probably. He's had screen time. I don't get that. Like, what was the point in recasting the dude if he wasn't even going to be in the show? And so, like, um, so she's in the apartment and she's like furious. She put like Bitsy in like danger, and she's furious at herself for befriending Libby. But she had no idea Libby was nuts in the head. So, that's not her fault. And so, like, um, So they're all going around like the apartment, and they're like seeing how disturbed it is, and um from what is it from what what's her name did and stuff. And because when she was there in Matron's apartment, she was taking a shower, she was cooking food, she was doing everything, right? And so Sarah is starting to have like this weird PTS thing. Like she's having these flashes of Libby doing stuff. She's becoming Laszlo now. She's immersing herself in the crime scene and placing herself as like the murderer and stuff. It's really cool because she learned so much from him. Now where she's like trying to solve cases better like him and stuff. And so like John is trying to like comfort her, but she just doesn't want it. She's just like angry at herself. And so Marcus, he's down at the police station with Dole, and they're like interrogating Colleen, and they want her to look through some mug shots and stuff. And so, like, as she's looking through the mug shots, she's looking for Libby, and she finally finds her picture. She was going by an alias and stuff. Now, the alias she goes by, I forget the name of, but that's what she was originally born in the books. But then she changed her name to Libby Hatch. And so they find out she is actually a criminal and stuff. And so they put out a bunch of like flyers and bulletins of have you seen Libby? So Libby's like walking in the street. She's all like disturbed and everything. And she's dressing now all in black, which a lot of people do back in those days. And she's seeing the flyers up with her face, so she's very worried. But then she takes Isabella's baby and puts it in like, the crib, and she goes to the park, and this woman, and she's just letting the baby cry, like just cry and won't attend to it, as she's smoking and looking very disturbed on a bench. And the woman's all like, do you want me to help you? And she just looks at this woman with eyes of hate and contentment and everything. And the woman gets so like worried, she like leaves and stuff. And it's just like when Laszlo, when he saw the apartment and everything, he tells everybody that like Libby, her pattern is going to be harder to determine now because she's changing. He tells everybody she's becoming unhinged because she has now killed her first adult and everything. Because she normally just kills babies, and she's killed about four, and every baby she's killed, she's taking a picture of. And so at this point, we still don't know why she is like doing this and stuff. She keeps talking about how she wants her baby and everything, but then she keeps kind of seeing like these new babies as her baby, and so nobody really knows what she's talking about. And like we see her, she's like breastfeeding like the baby and stuff, and we always see her drink poison before she breastfeeds, and then the baby started like biting her and stuff, and she got furious at the baby, like well, she wanted to like smack it, but she didn't, and she's all like, no baby of mine's gonna bite me, I'm your mother. So she is whacked in the head, like, you know what I'm saying? And so like then as she's walking through the streets trying to hide from everybody, she sees the detective agency of Sarah's. So when nobody's in there, she goes in there. When Sarah and John are coming back, Sarah's kind of like, I told my assistants like to dim the lights when they leave, but she sees somebody is actually has been in her place. So I think she whips out her gun. I can't remember or not. And so she's looking around and she sees like stuff has been slightly rearranged, and she sees on the chalkboard Libby has drawn like eyes, and like the same type of eye pattern that she does for like the dolls and the baby. So Sarah knows that this is now personal because she stopped her and stuff, and this woman is nuts. But then Sarah also makes a discovery. Her father's gun has been stolen by Libby. Now, her father's gun, I've been getting that mistaken for the gun that Sarah constantly like brandish around. Her father's gun is like a very old school, early 1800s like pistol revolver. And so like um John's all like, you shouldn't stay in your apartment and everything. I think he offers her to stay for her to stay at his place or something like that because it's too dangerous for her now because she's the marked target for what's her name. And so when what is Cyrus' niece's name? Something Crawford. I forgot. Um, anyway, so Cyrus' niece is with Sarah, and they spot Libby at night in like a rough neighborhood. So they go and they follow her and they spy on her. She's basically just like hanging out with the Duster gang and with Goo Goo Knox. And he's a real person in real life too, and so are the Dusters. And so like um they're just like goofing around outside doing their like gangster stuff, and they see Libby leaves after a while. So they follow and they follow to like that burnt down building that they found earlier in the season. And so like Sarah tells Cyrus needs to go get the others. She needs backup. So she goes in there alone and she has her gun drawn and she has her hand extended out very long and she's just like creeping around like this dark, like abandoned building that's been burnt down. It's very eerie and it's very cold and so that's giving some nice tension when you're watching, and especially with the look on like Sarah's face. It's almost like frozen and stuff. And you can hear Libby in the background talking about like, I thought you understood me and blah 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 and stuff like that. So you can hear her voice echoing in the background, but you don't know where she's at. And then suddenly the big confrontation happened and they fired their guns at each other. She hits Libby like in the shoulder. And I don't know if there was a stroke or not, I can't remember. But anyways, before all that happened, Cyrus' niece went to go find John. He's at like a dinner with his soon to be godfather-in-law and his and Violet, his fiance. And of course, everybody's treating Cyrus' niece in a very nasty way because it's back in the 1800s and stuff, and she's black. And so John rushes to go find Sarah, and he actually makes it there before everybody else does. And so like he's in there, and he's like walking around like the dark place, and this is before the gunshots were fired and stuff. 'Cause, he loves Sarah and stuff. Well, the others, they head there too. Laszlo, when he's about to get out of his carriage, he is stopped by a gang member. I think it's called Jack Flip, I think his name is. He's real too. Um, and he puts like a knife at Laszlo. He's all like, "Oh, where you at? Dressed all fancy in this neighborhood and stuff." So Laszlo is in trouble. And so next thing you know, Marcus comes in with his pistol and he tells Flip to like drop the knife and everything. And so after all that confrontation between like Sarah and Libby, Libby flees again. And but then this time Sarah now finds the baby. Thank God for that. So like they give the baby back to Isabella, and but Libby is still on the loose. And so like it's insane because at the end scenes of the show, you see Sarah and John talking, and Sarah, talking about how like I forget what they talk about, but I think it's talking about how she still has feelings for him or something like that. So next thing you know, they end up doing it. Yeah, he cheated on his fiance and everything. So yeah. So I have to say, all in all, this was a really good episode. It kind of reminded me of like the season finale of season one, but more watered down. Um, because everybody else in the show really didn't do much of anything. And so like, and that's just so weird because it's like if they wanted to, like I said, I do like the Sarah character, and I'm glad they gave her more to do. But if they just wanted to make the show all about her, they should just rename the show or something like that. Made this into like a spin-off or something, but they couldn't because this is also based off the second book by Caleb Carr and stuff. And so, like, I do love the dramatic tension with them walking through like the abandoned building at night, and trying to find crazy Libby and everything. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.